Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Warriors advised to sign versatile $18 million forward-to-value deal. The Golden State Warriors probably have the ammunition to bring in a star player this summer, but one guy won't carry the Dubs back to legitimate title contention all by himself. The Warriors have proven themselves masters of understanding the concept of fit, even with regards to the highest level of talent the NBA has to offer. The pairing of Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson became the greatest shooting backcourt in league history, and was complemented perfectly by the defensive prowess and court vision of Draymond Green. Thompson may be on his way out of the Bay Area after 13 years via unrestricted free agency, which will clear salary cap space for Golden State to pursue another elite talent to replace him, Jimmy Butler of the Miami Heat being just one potential example. But the player fits around Curry, Green and whoever a third member of a Big Three might be will prove paramount for an aging roster hoping to compete in a young and brutally loaded Western Conference. To that end, Zach Buckley of Bleacher Report on Thursday, June 6, pitched Kyle Anderson of the Minnesota Timberwolves as a sleeper contract the Dubs should pursue this offseason. Anderson will play next season at 31 years old. He is far from a superstar, but has posted solid numbers across the board over his 10-year NBA tenure. His career totals are 6.9 points, 4.4 rebounds, 2.8 assists, 1 steal and 0.6 blocks per game across 21.9 minutes of court time per night, according to Basketball Reference. However, Anderson's value to the Warriors would be greater than the numbers that show up on traditional stat sheets, as Buckley laid out. Anderson likely sits on the ambitious edge of Golden State's budget, but there's a universe in which he's open to taking the taxpayers' mid-level exception. He checks a metric ton of boxes on the basketball court, but he is limited as a scorer and spacer, so maybe that eats into his earnings enough to slot him in the affordable category. If the Warriors feel there's even a sliver of hope for having him, then he's worth an aggressive courtship. His aforementioned versatility reaches both ends of the court. On offense, he can function as anything from a 6'9" playmaker to a small ball big. In other words, he could potentially help Golden State replace Chris Paul while also adding new twists to this front court. On defense, his length, instincts and awareness help him keep up with assignments of nearly every style. His quick processing skills would make him a fit in this read-and-react system, and he could enhance the offensive menu by handling either side of a pick-and-roll play. Anderson just completed the final season of a 2-year, $18 million deal in Minnesota and will be an unrestricted free agent this summer. Buckley mentioned the taxpayers' mid-level exception as potential path for the Warriors to land a player like Anderson. According to a Hoops Rumors projection from November 2023 that assumed a league-wide salary cap of $141 million for the 2024-25 season, the taxpayers' mid-level exception would price in at just shy of $5.2 million. That represents a significant pay cut for Anderson. However, a reduction in pay tracks as his numbers were down across the board last season, along with his playing time, as Anderson crossed the threshold into his 30s. Anderson's availability to Golden State is likely to come down to how much interest there is in him around the NBA this summer, as well as how competitive a roster the Warriors can put on the court after an offseason that appears primed for significant personnel turnover. Klay Thompson, Magic share mutual interest. Paul George on radar. Golden State Warriors shooting guard Klay Thompson and the Orlando Magic have a mutual interest in free agency, and Orlando could try to make a run at Los Angeles Clippers star Paul George as well. The Thompson, George and Magic news was shared by Mark Stein of the Stein Line. Meanwhile, Shams Charania of The Athletic noted last month that Thompson and the Magic already share interest in teaming up. Orlando continues to be mentioned by various league observers as a natural suitor for George as well as Golden State's Klay Thompson, Stein wrote. The Clippers certainly hope to retain George in free agency, but they've made it clear by letting negotiations drag out to this point that they want to do it at their price. Same goes for the Warriors with Thompson. Golden State would like to bring him back, but given that his free agency looms at the end of the month, it's clear that they're not willing to break the bank. Like George, Thompson has also been linked to the 76ers as a sort of plan B, or C, or D. One of the best shooters in NBA history, Thompson averaged 17.9 points, 3.3 rebounds, and 2.3 assists this season while shooting 43.2% from the field, 38.7% from beyond the arc, and 92.7% from the free throw line. But his game has been on the decline in recent years, as the Warriors failed to make the playoffs. Thompson was relegated to a reserve role for parts of the season. According to NBA insider Tim Kawakami of The Athletic, the Magic might offer Thompson a ton of money this summer. One of the worst-kept secrets in the league is that Orlando, loaded with young talent but not with shooters, might offer Klay a ton of money next summer, Kawakami wrote. Meanwhile, Joe Lacob has said the Warriors want to get all the way out of the luxury tax next summer, which is possible, but only if they are very disciplined about how much they're willing to pay to keep Klay and/or Chris Paul. As for Orlando, there's no doubt it is a franchise on the rise, with a tall and talented young roster that features the likes of Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and Jalen Suggs, among multiple others. The Magic have the cap space to sign a veteran wing, and it very much appears that is their off-season intention. 3x NBA champion expected to be cut by Golden State Warriors in coming weeks. Time is dwindling for the Golden State Warriors to make decisions on the futures of a number of key players, with June set to a big month for the fate of the franchise moving forward. One of those players is Kevon Looney, who, after a disappointing season in which he was supplanted by rookie big man Tracy Jackson-Davis, faces an uncertain future after 9 years with the Warriors. Looney has an $8 million contract for next season, but only $3 million of which is guaranteed. June 24 is the key date for Looney and Golden State, with that being D-Day for the franchise on deciding whether to guarantee the remaining $5 million of his deal. Do the Warriors, burdened by a huge payroll and with aspirations of ducking the second tax apron, wish to pay $8 million to a backup center next season? Perhaps not, according to The Athletic's Tim Kawakami, who, in a recent episode of the Warriors Plus Minus podcast, detailed his expectation that the Warriors will cut Looney by June 24. I think the likeliest situation is that he's cut and he makes $3 million from them and he's off looking for another spot, and there will be another spot for him in this league. Teams are going to want him, again for a very low number, but they're going to want him. Tim Kawakami. After starting 150 of 164 regular season games over the previous 2 years, Looney lost his starting role and even his spot in the rotation altogether during the second half of the season. He averaged 4.5 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 1.8 assists in 16.1 minutes per game, all numbers that were well down from a career-best year in 2022-23. The 3x NBA champion could find himself departing the Warriors even if his contract is guaranteed, with Kawakami believing that would signify an imminent Looney trade in the days or weeks following June 24. Kawakami identified the 2023 champion Denver Nuggets as a potential spot for Looney to replace DeAndre Jordan as a backup for Nikola Jokic, while he also sees the San Antonio Spurs as a potential destination where the 28-year-old could be a mentor to Victor Wembanyama. While many are finding it difficult to envision Klay Thompson in a different jersey next season, seeing Looney on a rival team may prove just as strange given the on- and off-court legacy he's built at the Warriors over nearly a decade. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Kevon Looney? Leave your opinion in the comments.